What is a resort show? Why do they exist? Are they still necessary? I was scrolling through the Vogue Runway app and I was looking over some resort shows that have come out in the last couple of months this summer, and I really wanted to dedicate a video to understanding the purpose of a runway show and then do a little bit of a deep dive on the core of why pre-collections exist on top of the runway shows that we're already seeing each season. The main purpose of a fashion runway show is to showcase a designer's latest collection to an audience of buyers, press, influencers, and fashion enthusiasts. And I would say traditionally, the level of importance of who has an invitation to the runway show is in that order, with buyers first. But in this age of social media, we're seeing influencers have a new level of importance and being invited to these shows more often. The need, the excitement, the production of runway shows has really evolved so much over the years. And I think that the need for press, celebrities, and social media influencers is a little bit self-explanatory, but I wanted to talk about the buyers. I have a special place in my heart for the buyers, and I want to talk about why they are so crucial to a runway show. The way I would describe it, the best way that I see it in my head, is the buyers serve as this vital lifeline or this bridge between the designers and us, the consumers. They ensure that the market receives the appropriate products that align with consumer demand. There could be a buyer from Bergdorf Goodman at the Chanel show analyzing what looks or accessories will sell well in the luxury department store here in New York. There could be a senior buyer from Essence at the shows scouting new talent or new looks for the menswear section of the website. Even from what I've observed working on the corporate side at one of the largest European brands, fashion houses have their own internal buyers analyzing and selecting what product from the Paris runway show will sell well in their region. There could be a look from a collection that would sell out in Korea, but a US buyer has the discernment and the expertise to say, no, that probably won't sell well in the US. We need to look at these options for the US. Our clients on the West Coast want blue bags instead of red bags. That's just an example, but the store in Soho needs crew necks in this color, but our store in Houston, Texas is seeing a demand for t-shirts in this color. So from the country to the region, all the way down to the store location, buyers play such a crucial role in curating and selecting the most ideal products from the runway shows. And shout out to the visual merchandising teams and the retail teams as well, because collectively they all work together to make sure that when the customer enters the store, they not only find what they were looking for, but they discover new products that they didn't know that they needed. And that only adds to a more satisfying shopping experience and more successful transactions. The amount of research that goes into these decisions is quite remarkable. And so hopefully that rant on buyers and the fashion retail space helps put in perspective why these shows happen, why it's important to have these shows, and also why it's important to have the insiders that work in fashion see the clothes in person. Traditionally, the two main seasons that we always see that gets the most attention is the fall, winter, and spring, summer shows each year. Couture Week also has its place in the conversation of important seasons to look out for each year. It's fun to look at if you love art. It's fun to fantasize over, but Couture Week is for the 1%, and I want to focus on the runway shows that have a greater impact on trends and style that we see in real life. Fall, winter, and spring, summer seasons are paramount because it's the moment that we get to see the designer's full story and vision for the brand 6 months ahead of time. And through watching all of these runway shows, we see the overall fashion forecast for the coming months. When you see all of the buyers, journalists, and influencers flocking to New York, London, Milan, and Paris, it's most likely for a fall, winter, spring, summer runway show or some sort of event related to the Fashion Week schedule. But then it's also like, why are designers producing 2 collections a year? It's literally mind-blowing to me. It makes designers go bankrupt. It's such a huge production. Most designers take on this burden of producing 2 collections a year for the visibility, the buyers, the networking, the hopefully positive press, the opportunities for marketing through social media. And hopefully, most importantly, out of all the things I just listed, because they love designing clothes as a job and they want the opportunity to present their concepts to the world as much as they can and build their business so they can keep doing what they do. The smaller brands, the larger houses, they need to make money. So they need to produce more than 1 collection every year to assess what the buyers and the consumers want year round. And the runway show hits every single point of visibility necessary to sell clothes. While it is common for designers to produce 2 main collections a year, it's not mandatory either. I noticed that some designers might choose to produce less based on their brand identity, including sustainability concerns. Their target audience, their business model are also a part of their decision making when it comes on to producing less. You might see designers opt for smaller capsule collections throughout the year, depending on their production capabilities. And if it makes sense for their commercial strategy, if they can handle more production and want to give their client more options to buy into, maybe they'll even add more collections throughout the year, like a resort show. And now we're getting to the second part of this video. These optional seasons that not all designers participate in are the resort and pre-fall collections. They fall in between fall, winter, spring, summer. Resort shows, pre-fall shows, pre-collection shows, whatever you want to call it, they feel very mysterious. Sometimes quiet, sometimes to the side. Resort shows tend to feel like that cousin that doesn't always come to the family gatherings. You might see them this year, you might not. They can feel very unnecessary at times, in my opinion, and don't really hold the same substance or significance as the pre-fall, spring, summer shows. Calling it a resort or a cruise show was originally a concept for the rich consumer. The major fashion houses knew that their buyer would have the disposable income to be on vacation during the winter months. Their clients would be traveling to a resort or a cruise. So to really build a lifestyle brand for their buyers, fashion houses like Chanel wanted to dedicate an entire off-season collection and build a wardrobe for their clients going on vacation. For me, when I think of resort, these collections traditionally look like more wearable pieces with lighter fabrics for warm weather, open-toe shoes, a softer color palette that really thinks about the summer months. But today, resort or pre-collections have really expanded beyond that concept. You might see a fall winter piece in a resort collection, which addresses the idea that not every client with disposable income is going somewhere warm for vacation. You might see a brand release capsule collection photos of pieces that feel similar to the main collection we saw, or maybe it's a preliminary show giving a sneak peek of what's to come before the main season. Some of those pre-collection looks might not have made it to the main runway show, but they're still great transitional pieces for their client and for the brand. To be completely honest, there are times where resort collections can just come off very basic, but they're super wearable. And I see this as an opportunity for the brand to just make sure that their client has something to wear no matter where they're going in the world. With the help of pre-collections, there's always a season of something new all year round. Is that a healthy relationship with clothes and consumption? Not quite. But I digress. For brands like Chanel, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, etc., they're putting on huge spectacles of resort shows, not only because they have the financing to do so, not only does it keep their client engaged with the brand all year round, but the event itself is also a huge opportunity to expand their brand footprint. Resort collections offer brands the flexibility to present their designs on their own terms outside of the standard Fashion Week schedule and locations. They're not limited to showing in New York, London, Milan, and Paris. Pre-fall is a great time for Chanel to show in Shanghai and connect with their market in China. Karl Lagerfeld, as some may know, was the pioneer in executing these grandiose pre-collection shows worldwide. Another example would be Dior. Resort is a great time for Dior to invite all of their VICs, very important clients, to Castle Gardens in a location like Scotland. Pre-collections can be another pivotal moment for a brand outside of the Fashion Week standard. And coming back to the reasons why a brand might not do a resort show, we talked about just not having the resources, the time, the money, the people, also sustainability concerns. But I also wanted to add market demand as well as a reason why a designer might not put on a resort show. Maybe their people, their client, just aren't looking for resort shows from them because it doesn't connect to their brand identity, or there's just no demand, period, and there's just no need to produce them because they're not there yet. So I just wanted to add that as a perspective of why one of your favorite brands aren't putting out resort shows. It's just not necessary for their business model. I hope this video really helps dissect why runway shows are important, why resort shows are still happening today, why they may not happen. I've always been so curious about the fashion calendar, and it's just so complex. There's so much going on per year. I was always curious about why are these designers putting on these shows if they literally can't afford it? Like, what is the point of having this little capsule collection of images on Vogue Runway during the summer for resort? Like, why do you need this? And so I hope this helps someone. It definitely helps break it down in my brain. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.